affectionate words of welcome is required, and definitely to do the honors of doing that, I'll be inviting the convener who will, in his opening address, get to let you know much more about all we intend to do here and make everyone more comfortable. Please help me to celebrate and welcome Mr. Franklin Ajayi as he comes over.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Our very distinguished guests. I stand on the all existing protocol. I want to very much appreciate your presence here today. I actually very prepared for yesterday, not today, and I think I did a speech yesterday, but I was
stuttering. I said, "What's your name?" He said, "My name is Osifo." Osifo, why do you think you're stupid? Why do you think you're stupid? Excuse me, I didn't want to see you standing alone, so I said, let us stand up and become stupid. Two of us. Well, I just want to make sure everybody is calm and every other thing and everything. Now, one good thing I love about Nigerians, there are certain brands that we're so used to that we're giving them a generic name. Everywhere you go, that's the name they call them. Now, let's get to feel everybody if you understand what I mean. Every noodles in Nigeria is called what? Every petroleum jelly is called what? Every detergent is called what? Every toothpaste is called what? Every SUV is called what? Nigerians, let's celebrate ourselves. But the one that is so interesting is when you have to call two words to explain a situation, to explain something like like chin chin, kuli kuli, puff puff, moi moi, do do, cry cry, laugh laugh. Kwekere is not two now. Tolo tolo, san san, play beggy beggy. Which other ones? Play. Oh, they do that one well. Okay. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may I really assure you that in a short while we'll be commencing the activities, the first presentation. But I'd like to do a clearance while I allow my teacher to just serenade us with small music while I tidy up on something. Representing one of our noble sons, Honorable Dr. Samson Osage. He is here in his capacity to be sure that everything goes on right so that he can report appropriately that everything went on fine. He is a consultant with Samraf Global Consults Limited. Please help me to celebrate and welcome Honorable Egiato Isaac. I hope I did not murder your name. Okay, which means you're most welcome, sir. To kickstart activities for today, I'd like to let you know that we are gathered for a rewarding experience through a thorough weave of thoughts relating to the future of housing infrastructure development, the African perspective. I'm glad to say that we're going to appraise all the promises and potentials embedded here, and then solutions to some of the challenges we're having by doing what is necessary, what is possible, and then we'll do the impossible. To speak to us and share his thoughts about this double gathering, may I invite our very dear consultant from the Italian construction company, Mr. Giuliano Sella, to please talk to us just for a few minutes and we'll continue. Please, can we put our hands together to celebrate him?
Maybe I should start singing. My name is Giuliano Cella. I am an Italian. I work for a company called Eurotech West Africa Nigeria Limited. I have, like our MC was saying, that I'm a Nigerian. I've been here 26 years. Wow. And I can't say I really enjoyed it. He's clapping, but I can't say I really enjoyed it. But having stayed here for so long, I started from scratch, literally, and I went into construction since then. And now, with the experience and the white hair and my boldness, I'm here to talk about the future of housing and infrastructure. Like I said it yesterday, there is really nothing I can teach construction companies. In fact, for one simple reason. Concrete was done by the Romans 2,000 years ago. We haven't changed much of all this. So if 2,000 years ago concrete was still good, I mean, we are still able to use that. That means something is still good. And we are using it here, especially here in Nigeria. Dangote. But like I said, I'm not here to teach only to teach construction or anything, because there is also very good companies. We have the excellent companies, the good companies in between, and we have the people that we should not really be assisting or giving them jobs, because all they are looking for is their own profits. The future of the real estate really holds an immense promise and potential, especially with the rapid urbanization and the lack of housing units. Yesterday I heard an amount that really staggered me. They said that the lack of housing units in Nigeria is around 50 million housing in a population that is getting close to 250 million by 2030. So there are still 50 million people that don't have a proper house as such. So there is a high demand for quality and well-maintained estates, because that estate will give you the infrastructure that you need, and then of course the security, which is a major issue that has to be implemented within the estates. It's only with the assistance of companies or group of companies like we have here, the IRECE and RENA, that we can only know better what it is. And like Franklin was saying earlier, let's get together, let's talk more to each other to be able to improve ourselves. One thing that we're supposed to be looking, as we're speaking about the future of housing, is what we call in Europe, we call them green deals or green energy. It's actually an energy saving attitude that we need to have within the country. As it is, everybody's wasting, just throwing 2 gens on, or NEPA that doesn't give us light, so your fridge goes down and goes up again. So we have to be looking at different opportunities in energy. And we have many, many things to be implemented, which is starting from, I don't even see my handwriting. What we're looking at, what everybody is looking at, is solar and wind. I am not really very much for that, but it's a way through. The reason I'm not much for the solar and wind is because you have to have storage. Storage is a battery. We are not still in good shape in storing energy, and they tend to burn. I don't know if you noticed in some of the videos that they go around in TikTok. that electric cars, they do burn, and they burn fast and bad. So that keeps me away from them. What I'm looking for is what they call biofuel, which is possible to have here because it's only a vegetable oil, basically, that can be used. One other thing that this improvement, this housing infrastructure development, the future of it, the future implies that the more buildings are coming up, more employment is there because employees will be hired to do this minor job, the medium job, and the higher up jobs. But it's not only with that in mind that you have to keep, that you have to think of. It's also with what happens afterwards. The actual maintenance of the estates, the security of the estates, to follow up with the infrastructure, to follow up the infrastructure maintenance, meaning you cannot put a light bulb and a year down the road the light bulb goes off and it's not even repaired. So that is what has to be thought of, meaning the maintenance, actually the building of it, and continuation of the maintenance until they're there. And one more thing that I have to say is whoever is actually looking or even thinking of doing building and construction of estates is one very important thing, which is location. I said it yesterday, location, location, location. It's usually said 3 times to stick it into people's mind, because you can't build a house in the middle of the desert and expect to be paid the same amount that you will have it in the middle of VI or in the middle of central area in Abuja. So we have to, everything has to be pre-planned, whether it's in the construction part or just simply looking for a land. Not because you had a land that was handed over or you bought at a cheap price, you think you can build up an estate. With that in mind, everything has to be planned. And the people that we have around, our Franklin here, and other companies that we are sponsoring you or they are sponsoring us, there will definitely be an extra help for you. And then of course we have the two gentlemen here, ladies and gentlemen over there, they will be the naughty finger. They will tell you what to do and what not to do. I hope I was clear enough. Thank you.
Please, can we give him a rousing applause? We expected Mr. Juliano was going to tell us his goodwill message. By introducing him, I'm formally welcoming him to this conference. Please, can we put a hands together for him?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I remain Engineer Sisi Goodluck. Wish to stand on the existing protocol. The last time I flattered someone, I think it should be like 10 years ago. And it's always a culture when you come off stage to especially give a good message, people expect you to say good things. Now, that expectation makes it so flimsy that when you say those things and it's expected, people don't really pay attention. So the essence of me is to flattering people so that when I do, you will know it's for a reason. This is the most organized conference, considering the planning, the organization, the chain of supply when it comes to real estate industry has been put together to make up a single conference. Last year was just the first edition, and this is the second edition. If you're here the first time, hardly will you know that this is the second edition of this conference. What does this conference hold? Very simple. Information dissemination. Most of us come to a conference, what we are looking for, which is not out of place. It's collaboration, networking, more especially bottom line, money. Hello?
Hi.
We don't hand out money at conference. But the most tangible information you get from here, if used appropriately, be converted to what? To much more than money. I tell you, last year, the exhibitors we had last year was nothing like, I can't overemphasize. Now this year, the same set of persons with extra people came on board with much more innovative ideas. The speakers that are lined up for this are also seasoned speakers in their different field. Now the participants, you and I, we are here for a purpose. And the purpose is not just come and buy a house, come and build a house, or come and buy a land. They are part of it. But much more is the investment part. How many houses can you live in if you have 10? Just one. And why would someone tell you to come and buy another one when you already have one? It's not about buying and acquiring, it's about understanding how this works and how this can affect your bottom line at the end of the day. I bet you, if you take the information you're getting from this arrangement, this event, home, and make use of it, definitely you will find a space in the value chain of the real estate industry, either as a developer, or as an investor, as a real estate agent, or call it anything. Please, this event is packaged for you. Who are these persons? The participants who are here. Some of us are here to get a land free of charge. Yesterday there was an auction, or just a free land giveaway. Okay? Now some of us have some limitations. This is a breakthrough. This is a solution event. You want to be a landowner, a house owner. If land can be given free of charge, what stops you from approaching the developers here with the little amount you have, and they will create something out of your budget? You can't go home empty-handed. The information you got yesterday and the one you're yet to get today, when you put them to use, it either work immediately or work, in time to come. The only person that will lose out on this information that will be sharing from here is the person who doesn't take any action on those information they got. And I tell you, if you trash the information, Bambola will pick it up, refine it, and sell it at a value. Thank you very much, and welcome to the conference.
Thank you very much, Engineer, for reminding us the need to always keep ourselves informed. We all know there are three things that make you thrive in life: knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But you need all the information in life, and the only time you stop learning is when you are dead. That's when you cannot learn again. But in his speech, he made mention of money. So you use all the information to generate the money. And that other one that he was talking about, the land they gave yesterday, today's own has been taken. So for those of us who are waiting to receive land, you have to come for the next conference. Okay. To take us further, I'll be inviting this very distinguished gentleman who is representing the past minority whip in the House of Representatives of the National Assembly, Honorable Dr. Samson Osagi, represented here by Honorable Higato Isaac, consultant. Please to come share the thoughts of our honorable member. Please, now put your hands together for him. Sorry, sir, just hold on. They are not clapping. Please, can you put your hands together for
Thank you so very much. I want to stand on the protocol. I'm here on behalf of my principal, Right Honorable Dr. Samson Osagi, the Chairman CEO of Samraf Global Consult. I bring you greetings We celebrate this beautiful event. It's second to none, and of course, Abuja, the capital city, needs something like this more again and again. To us in Samraf, we are a management consultant, development consultant, and also in the area of governance. Though we are not particularly particular about real estate. But however, we see real estate or housing, as the case may be, as a definition of development. The kind of houses people dwell in actually demonstrate or tells a lot about the level of demonstrate the level of development of a people. If people live in slums, people live in caves, or people live in poorly ventilated or poorly laid out estates, it actually goes a long way to say that those people are not well developed. But however, with IRECE or IRECE? IRECE, okay, I don't want to get the right pronunciation. IRECE. We can see there is hope for development of our land, Nigeria. If you go beyond the central area of Abuja, if you go to Babalada, you go to Kubwa, you go to, there are a lot of slums. So I want to believe that through this conference or through this program, that developers will be able to bring out also, even the Bababola also need a house. So it is my utmost desire and also prayer that through this conference we're able to develop or look for initiative on how to create housing for all Nigerians. It doesn't matter the level of their finances or their income. There's a need, the responsibility rests on developers in this country to see to it that they're able to develop, they're able to come up with schemes that will help even the least income persons in this society to live in the decent housing. But however, I want to quickly say this, that to us in Samraf Consultants, we are ready to partner with the organizers of this conference in the area of generating legislations, whether at the subnational level or at the national level. We're able to turn out laws and policies that will help to drive housing and drive development to every nook and cranny of this nation. So once again, I want to welcome all of us to this conference. We are here to partner with you. We are here to help to see to it that this conference go to the next level. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Please, can we clap some more for him as he goes to take his seat? May I quickly announce that we have in our midst this moment the immediate past president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Mr. Didayo Adeshina. Please, can we put a hands together for him? You're most welcome, sir. Let's allow you to catch your breath, and then we will definitely invite you to share your thoughts. I'd like to give a little testimony about myself. Fix my car. I decided to take a bike, we call them Okada, here in Nigeria. And all of a sudden, we're on top speed, and I realized I was behind, but I was shedding tears. And I was wondering, if I was behind and I'm shedding tears, what will be happening to the rider who is in front? Then I now asked him, Oga, this wind know they enter your eye? He said, Kai wallahi, Oga, it's you that is opening your eye. Me, I just close my eye and fire. With that, I was smart enough to say wisdom is profitable to direct, and I stepped down and I got another bike, not knowing it was from frying pan to fire. We were on top speed, and all of a sudden there was a trailer in front. He wanted to swerve to the left, the trailer moved to the left. He came back to the right, the trailer moved to the right. I said, wait, Oga, you see, ba? I go left, he go left, I go right, he go right. hold me, we're going under. But you may be laughing. You don't know what truly happened to me in Akwa Ibom. Oh, sorry, madam. Okay, permission first.
In those days when I was growing up, there is a culture, I think, among some of these our Southeastern friends, they can correct me if I'm wrong, that you don't start thinking of getting married if you don't have a house in the village. Am I correct?
Yes.
Good. Now you now see this culture, even though I come from the Yoruba side, it is not as tedious or as stringent as that, but it actually creates a sense of well-being, a sense of community. You build a house first before you start thinking about getting married. So that way you are forced to be responsible from the word go. And you now see this culture is something that now makes the woman to realize that, oh, there is a place I can lay my hands on. Any one of us who is yet to get to that level of actualization does not feel permanently secured. Because you are always afraid of one thing. What if you are living according to your current standard of living? You are living in a very big house. Your wife is not at the same level of economic comfort you are in. And then something happens, the inevitable. Maybe prematurely or however, even maturely self. But that aspect is clear. The woman does not yet have a home. Because anything can happen. Now this is a conference I told you yesterday that I will continuously even value the educational aspect. My presentation is not till tomorrow, but I'm rushing to be here just to at least have that education. And you see the beauty of it. It is not settled until you get a house on your head. I mentioned something yesterday which the GM of Federal Mortgage Bank responded to. And we are talking 50 million deficit. That is just half of the story. Let me now tell you the second half and then vacate the stage. The second half is that there is a prediction, a statistical evaluation, that in the next less than 25 years from now, the population of this country will be going into the region of more than 400 million. What does that tell us? If our current estimate is 200-something million, and in less than 20-something years from now, we'll be hitting 400 million, what do you think is going to happen to the issue of housing deficit and the need for us to come up with something unique? Honorable Isaac made something very clear. We need to start rethinking our model. We need to start rethinking the need for us to start looking at the inclusive model. No matter the poverty we think we are talking about, everybody needs a house. I picked that from him. And that is the truth. Whether you make it low income, you make it medium income, or you make it high income, it doesn't really matter. But the fact remains that there must be a place for everybody to sleep in. It doesn't make a good environmental sense to see people living under the bridges, people living inside their vehicle, turning into a place of public convenience if we are not yet there. And I hope at this conference we have a rethink and a review and a remodel relating to how to take care of our future. We should start living the future now. It shouldn't wait until that time. I wish the organizers a further successful outing, because since I saw a successful outing yesterday, best of luck. Thank you very much.
Please, can we clap some more for Mr. Adedayo? I like the part that you made emphasis on everyone needs a home. And after the program, I will see you, sir. Because I think I need one. Okay. May I quickly acknowledge the presence of some of our very distinguished resource persons that are here with us in the course of Mr. Adedayo's speech, and they came in. I'd like to introduce a man I consider a stickler for innovation, maintains a consistent trajectory of achievements. Please help me to welcome and celebrate the chairman of CIAN, Chartered Institute of Auctioneers of Nigeria, Estate Surveyor Shola Abeji. Please can we put a hands together for him? You're most welcome, sir. I wish I had the right words to introduce the next person, but let me attempt and fail to attempt. She is a remarkable woman and admired for her courage, outstanding achievements, and noble qualities. Like I was telling a lot of people, I keep telling them, most of the times when you go around, especially on Saturdays, you see weddings all about, and then you keep wondering, why? Still, there are still more ladies still waiting for husbands to get married. Now realize, why are they not married? They are well brought up, gone to school, they can cook, they can keep the home.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Please permit me to stand on already established protocol. If I may correct the topic I'm giving is affordable housing in Nigeria, how close or far we are. But presently, as a scholar, I would like to, we give hope and we also inspire. And I would like to go in line with the President of the Republic of Nigeria. That is his renewed hope. Woo! We keep on hoping so that we'll get there. Yeah. So, in line with that, I will say, let's keep the hope going. And I have a belief that we are close, based on the agenda of Mr. President, that is His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Also, as a scholar again, I would say we are far because we do things the way it should through research, and we find out from statistics that housing affordability is very, very far from Nigeria. So, in this topic now, we are going to look at the overview, the brief history of housing in Nigeria. We'll move down to the characteristics. Also, we'll move ahead to know the present trends and all the factors affecting housing, affordable housing in Nigeria, as well as conclusion and recommendation. So permit me to start by my brief presentation. So, it's an overview of Nigerian housing. Nigerian housing landscape is diverse, reflecting mix of urban and rural living. The country faces challenges in providing adequate housing for a growing population, which is one of the most populous in Africa. In urban areas, there is demand for affordable housing due to rapid urbanization. Informal settlements are prevalent, highlighting the need for improved infrastructure. The government and the private sector are working on initiatives to address these challenges, including policies, subsidies, and collaboration to enhance housing accessibility and affordability. Infrastructure development is key focus to support overall housing improvements. As a developing country undergoing progressive economic transition, Nigeria has long been associated with profound urban housing problems. Underinvestment and chronic shortages were long-standing problems under its welfare housing system. According to World Bank, the average living space per person in cities was about 6.84 square meters. And since early 1990, the Nigerian government has depended market-oriented land and housing reform, and unprecedented waves of urban renewal swept through its cities. This has led to sustainable land use transformation as well as gentrification. Housing is one of the most basic of human needs. Provision of houses through the creation of mortgages is taken for granted in developing countries. However, it remains a major challenge. And unfortunately, since the early 90s.
sophistry or the details of the various auction methods that we have because of our time. Neither will I be able to go into the details of the required contractual work that should go in if you are going to engage an auctioneer. I'm sure that when you come in contact with one that is licensed, all those details will come in. Then on the part of the buying public, I would like to tell you that there are some auctions where that are described as absolute auctions, and that's, for me, it's where we can actually get properties cheap in an auction. And how does that work? In the event where a developer wants to sell or a house owner wants to sell, he says whoever gives the highest price wins it. What it means is that if the highest price on the day is 2 million, it means even if that property is worth 100 million, if the highest price is 2 million for that day, the guy with 2 million offer as highest bid wins that property. Of course, before an auction begins, there's what we call the rules of the game, the terms and conditions for the auction. It will have been stated there that for this particular auction, we are working based on whoever has the higher price, and we are not considering the reserve price of the person who intends to sell. This auction actually works a lot for charity auctions, so benefit auctions, where the idea is just to do some giving back to society, or is intended to encourage a targeted audience with respect to sale of those properties. I would like to say for proper mention that within the auction space are persons who are chartered, persons who are registered, and persons who are not registered. How do you identify a registered auctioneer? One who is trained and registered by the Certified Institute of Auctioneers, Nigeria. For those who are members of those institutes, I see some of our members here already, you will agree with me that the training is rigorous. International trainings are involved, international tutors are involved, and the idea is to reorganize the auction space and make it competitive with respect to our foreign counterparts. So for the future of real estate, of selling real estate through auction, I see a bright future in the sense that as the awareness grows within the consciousness of Nigerians and indeed persons who are within this space, the acceptance level will grow, particularly when the benefits, have become obvious to persons who will be using the services of auctioneers to sell the properties. How do auctioneers come in at the level of affordable housing? That one is a very big question. Well, I'd like to say that for auctioneers, where there is affordable housing, let's say, even I like to say that that word is relative, because what's affordable to me may not be affordable to you, but for the purpose of understanding, we take it that houses that are within the reasonable income levels of the average Nigerians. We can argue that out, what that figure is. But I say that auctioneers come in handy where the stock of those kind of properties are not much, as they always will always be, and there's a need to equitably sell these properties. The auctioneer is called in to help in the sale process of these limited stock of affordable houses, and how is that achieved? By various auction methods that the auctioneer can deploy, to achieve this. And the persons or group of persons who find this service useful will be government. And unfortunately for us, I just like to deviate a bit. We don't have what I call organized social housing. I've recommended in several forums where I've spoken before that I think that the government is serious about affordable housing. We should have what we call a social district in every state of the federation, where the government will acquire land, of course the legal machineries are there, and sell land at a controlled price to developers. And so if land is sold at controlled prices to developers, then the issue of cost of land being too high or being a major cost factor issue is de-emphasized. Construction of those buildings, of course, as much as possible, rely on local materials. If you can achieve at least 40–50% of local production of materials used in your building, you have saved a lot of cost. Then government can, on that basis, now regulate how the houses will be sold, as well as regulate even rents that be collected within those social districts.
Emmanuel Osilama. Sir, I've been given some powers as an MC. I will say you should catch your breath, but I will quickly call you to share your thoughts in a goodwill message. Please, can we have you give us your goodwill remarks? All right. Please, can we clap support for him as he comes to you?
I'm excited to be here again this afternoon. I took the keynote address yesterday, so I'm surprised I'm giving a goodwill message again. And so I'll just say to my guests, all protocols duly observed, and every other one seated, that this is where to be this season of the year. IRECE, International Real Estate Conference, is where to be. I'm so glad to see that you are here seated. I can assure you that you will not regret, because you see all academians seated here, professionals, ESV, Shola Ibeji is one of the most senior practicing real estate surveyor in the country, even though he looks very young. He has been in the Council of Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors. He's not a small boy. Don't look at his face. That's an authority in the industry. So you have a quite number of interesting personalities is yesterday. My VP was here yesterday. So I can assure you, you won't regret coming to listen to most of the insightful revelations you'll be getting from everybody. One thing I know is that real estate is the future. And what will be happening in the future is complete disruption of the process. So whether people like it or not, if they don't key into what is happening now, they will be pushed aside. Technology is going to take the forefront. 3D printing of houses will come to play even in Nigeria. Because what will happen is that even though the machines are very expensive now, somebody will take a step, a bold step, and to begin to, they will manufacture 3D printing machine in Nigeria. And once they start, we'll begin to produce like 1,000 houses in a few weeks. So the gap, that's the problem right now, 2040, the figure is not accurate. It's just assumption, 50 million deficit, 20 million deficit will be covered between time. So I thank you for being here, and it's a privilege to be on the podium again this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier I had mentioned that the Honorable Minister of State for the FCT was kind enough to send very, very amiable representative. We had Mrs. Ononopono Benson and also Town Planner Nasiru Suleiman, FNITP. The time has come for us to hear the words which the Honorable Minister has sent them to deliver at this conference. Please let me invite respectfully Town Planner Nasiru Suleiman, FNITP, for the presentation.
One standard of living, through housing you'll be able to do that. So housing challenges, when well addressed, supply accommodation, measure the health of a nation, and act as agent for economic growth, strategy for economic recovery during recession, and creation of employment in the society. These are part of the advantage of housing. Today's topic is very interesting, crucial and timely to Nigerians. So the next thing we try to look at what housing is all about. As we say, housing plays a key role in socio-economic development, but always below demand worldwide. The speaker from the lecturer, she said it clearly. Housing is very, very vital, but when you look at the whole situation, it's below in terms of supply. Housing is essential to man, one of the basic human needs, ranked second to food and clothing, and crucial to to the survival of a man. So apart from food and clothing, the next important thing is housing. So we need to take a very, very drastic action when it comes to the issue of housing in this country. Housing is a permanent structure referred to as a home, defined as a home, building, or structure when you are trying to know what housing is all about. A dwelling place constructed for the habitation of one or more persons. A space that they can call their own, that gives them privacy and shelters them from the weather and intrusion of unwanted people. That is one was already carried out by Moore in 2019. Is that? Yes. So we also look at the issue of housing deficit and dynamics in Nigeria. Let's go to the next slide. So, 2019 give us the various housing deficit between countries. So if you look at it, Nigeria have the highest deficit, despite the fact that we have the largest population. Next. So also there's a study carried out by the same Moore in 2019. Move to the next slide. I think. So in this particular slide, he tried to look at ownership of housing, just like the lecturer said earlier. If you look at Nigeria, only 10% that own houses. Unlike when you look at USA with 72, UK with 78, Singapore with 92. In fact, anybody that visited Singapore, he can testify to that one. When you come to the issue of housing, they don't have a problem. In fact, by now, somebody said that 100% in Singapore, everybody own a house. In fact, even those people that are mentally, they have mental problems, in fact, they normally provide houses for them. So we have a serious issue here in this country when it comes to the issue of housing. So housing and dynamics in Nigeria. Now, in this particular aspect, we try to look at what are the serious problems in the housing provision. The rise in the urban growth of African cities. What we are trying to look at here is, when you look at both the second one and the third one, that is rural-urban migration, if you look at it critically, people are now moving away from the villages into the urban areas. They want to go and settle there. So it becomes a serious issue when it comes to the issue of urbanization. People are moving, and most people are there to enjoy the facilities within the city. They are not productive. So it causes a serious problem. Cost of building materials, access to infrastructure, deficiency of being with the indigenous so that they can stay there. So when government want to, and most of these land are allocated within where these indigenous are staying. So at the end of the day, when government want to take position of that one, it becomes a serious problem. That's why we are having a serious challenges when you come to the issue of resettlement exercise. Next, right? Next slide. Maybe come back to the. So these are some of the challenges: lack of adequate funding, corruption in implementation and allocation of completed housing units. For example, houses that are meant for low-income earners. But at the end of the day, you realize that it's not enjoyable to low-income earners. Instead, those people that are the high-income earners, they go through the back door and buy those houses. So it's one of the problems. The issue of political interference is also a factor. Inadequate evaluation of the programs. Most of these programs, they are just theoretical. We don't evaluate it to the extent that, in fact, we are able to implement it physically. Then, no involvement of the tax tiers of government. Most of these, what do you call it, most of these programs, you realize that it's only state and federal government. State government, local government, where most of us stay, we don't even consider them when it comes to the issue of implementation of this particular scheme. So it becomes a serious problem too. Then lack of adequate data. In fact, it's a serious problem. I am expecting the lecturer or the estate valuer will talk about that particular data is one of the key problems that is also we are facing problem. Just like one of the person that just finished speaking, he said that some will say 20 million, some will say 10 million, some will say 50 million. Which is which? We need to know the exact data so that how can we approach it? That is the best. So it's also an issue. Next slide. Now we try to look at the Abuja experience, the federal capital city. The federal capital city come into being in 2000. Yes, in 1991. But the issue when you go to it was 1976. The decree 6 of 1976 bring about the establishment of the new federal capital city. That is from because of the problem associated with Lagos State. So the best thing is to come up with a new.
Regarding construction projects, how do you approach sustainability in your construction projects, and are there any specific sustainable practices that you prioritize?
Thank you very much once again, and good afternoon, everyone.
Sure.
I would say sustainability is all about you being able to maintain a tempo, right? And when we're talking about construction, for it to be sustainable, it requires so many factors, and government has a greater role to play in their policies and any other things that could aid the sustainability, especially when we're talking about building. I'm approaching building because that's my own area. Apart from that, if they provide enabling environments, all the professionals were being given the necessary power to practice in their own jurisdiction, I believe it will enhance what we are calling sustainability. But in another aspect, if all those things, all these two factors were not there, the professionals that are supposed to be in the field and doing the needful were not there, I don't think anything will be done tangibly. So the future is still somehow to me, because the laws are not being put to practice. You see some architects diving into the duties of a builder. You see accusers diving into the duties of a builder. We need to come as a body to really itemize, okay, this is your own jurisdiction, this is your own work. But we can synergize together and work together to move the housing sector or the construction industry forward through the collaboration. But we should know our boundaries, and government should put in enabling rules and regulations that will guide and direct our course. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much for that. So my next question will be going to Barrister Augustine. We've been hearing about regulatory changes. I would like to ask, in light of recent regulatory changes, how do you see these impacting real estate transactions and development? To you, are there any key points that industry professionals should be aware of?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I want to thank the organizers of this program. And I will just restrict myself to the environment where I practice, Abuja. We know that recently a lot is actually happening in line with your question. We have a new minister of the Federal Capital Territory, and who we see that he has a lot that he has put on board. And he's also working so much with the real estate developers. Recently he has had meetings with them, and he has also given them the opportunity to express themselves. And to the public, he has given us giving the public a direction in the acquisition of properties in Abuja, and he also put on notice as to the cost of acquiring C of O in Abuja, although it's still under debate. A lot of meetings are still being held, but from the social media, from what we see in the social media, it has not been legislated, but we see that there are prices that he has put out there. So I see that there's going to be progress. Also, I would also like to advise that when land speculators, when land prospectors, like those that want to go into real estate, or you want to buy a land individually, it is good that you do what we call due diligence. Due diligence, because if you have not bought the and you are also coming around to buy and acquire the C of O, it will be a problem. That is what the minister is trying to fight against, because he wants to put an end to that, where 2 or 3 persons have the same documents, covering the same land. So I see that if FCT can do what the minister is going to put on board, we'll be setting an example to other states to just follow. So I just hope that most of these things that the minister is coming up with, the National Assembly will also look at it and legislate on it. Like my closest speaker here said, the Land Use Act is one of the instruments that we look at when you want to acquire land, because individuals do not have absolute ownership of land, except when it is given to them by government. I think I have a paper tomorrow. I'll leave most of these areas. I'll be dwelling on it tomorrow, so I would like you to come back here and invite your friends to learn and hear more from us. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. My next question will be going to ESB Shola Beji. For every time we've actually heard people talk about auction. I believe that the idea of selling properties through auction is still not fully utilized in this sector. So what do you recommend as an expert in auctions?
Thank you very much. I'll go answer this question from the angle of legislation. There are quite a few states in Nigeria who have auction laws. Lagos State, I think Ekiti, Osun State, I think in the north, I think Kaduna State. But really, these auction laws are more like moribund, because the applications have really not been enforced. And we are advocating for a national auction law that would regulate auction practice in Nigeria. The auction space as it stands is highly unregulated, because more like an all-comers affair. As at today, anybody can walk into the Abuja Municipal Area Council and request for an auction license, and you'll just be given, whether you are a professional or not. All they want to do is generate income, make revenue, without caring to know whether you are qualified to practice as an auctioneer. And for us, auction is a professional course of study that should be handled by professionals. And so when people can operate within this field without proper regulation, you put the public at risk, where you have the activity of charlatans, make people lose money. You have issues where people have bad experiences because of auctioneers who have become Shylocks. Now, I can continue to say that for us as a professional body, we have successfully passed the auction law at the National Assembly twice. Unfortunately and sadly too, the presidents who were at the helms of affairs have failed to sign or grant assent to the bills as passed by the National Assembly. A third attempt is ongoing, and we are hoping this time around that Mr. President will deem it fit to sign the auction law when it is eventually passed. So for me, one of the ways to ensure that the public or auction becomes or takes its rightful place in Nigeria today will start from legislation. Then 2, the professionals within practicing in the industry must hone their skills and ensure that they are practicing at highest levels that can rank with their global counterparts, so that when the public see pristine and high-level auction service being given, then they know that, okay, we are dealing with professionals, and of course the news will go far and wide. On a final note, it will be the need for very strong advocacy for the various auction stakeholders, like my professional body, to continue to sensitize the public about the role of auctions, the advantages, and how well it can help in generating income, both at the private level and at national level. May I also say that there was a time the government was considering auctioning its assets as a way of increasing its expected revenue, as well as supporting its the budgetary inflow for a particular year. Even though that move started by
I want to invite thank you very much.
So I think Africa should do at this age and time is to pay attention to information, create the enabling environment. That means government and private sector, we need to collaborate. Government has to create the enabling environment, and the private sector also work with government. Because it is one thing for government to formulate policy, another thing for the policy to be properly implemented. And the issues we have been faced with over time is that government policy are not properly implemented. As a result, there are a lot of setbacks and a lot of niches. But if Africa want to survive and want to grow in this sector, Africa must begin to look up to what is happening across the globe. Look at what is happening. Look at the 3D technology that's coming up. Look at so many other. Look at the land registry. The land registry is a complete mess up. Africa must work hard to see that they synergize the land registry and unify it, like in Nigeria, using it as a case study. Nigeria land registry has to be unified, so we can have a single land registry where every document, every land in Nigeria will be registered. This, because land remains the raw material, this will help to make it easy for every African to have access to affordable.
Lastly, sir, what do you have to say about the FCC ministers leaders for the CFO payment of people acquiring new land?
I would say it's a welcome development. Everybody wants to move title to land. You need to have interest, your protection of your interest. So it's a very good development. But the challenge with it is that the time is a wrong time. The minister has to look at the fight. Nigerians, we don't have the capacity to pay the 3.5. And the minister, my appeal would be that the honorable minister should give me the second thought and see how he can maybe come up with a figure that is easier for a lot of people. Let me give you an instance. If, for instance, the minister reduces to 2 million, he will have more people paying for their CFO. But if he insists on the present figure, then he will have lesser people paying for their CFO. Because another thing the minister should understand, CFO is optional. It's not compulsory. If I don't have any need for a CFO, I will not want to pay for it. You understand? But because I have a need for a CFO, maybe I want to use it as a collateral in the bank, maybe I want to use it to secure my property, to keep it somewhere and say, yes, my property belongs to me for life, or maybe for 99 years. Then I will want to look for money. That's my appeal.
Thank you very much, sir.